Think of a science fiction film that acknowledges the existence of God. It's not easy. What you've just seen is part of The Shift, a sci-fi short film about a man of faith who encounters a mysterious stranger with otherworldly powers.
We're turning The Shift into a full-length feature film, which excites me for a number of reasons. And the biggest reason is the opportunity to show the love of God in the kind of story where we don't usually find Him.
A story of faith this big belongs on a big screen to reach the broadest possible audience. You can be a part of making this film a reality by expressing your interest at angel.com/theshift. The Shift is about Kevin, a man who's like me, and I think like a lot of us, he has faith, but he's hardly perfect. His marriage is on the rocks, he's about to lose his job, and he's not completely sure he's even a very good person. And then he meets the devil himself, pushes him back through prayer, and gets banished to a tyrannical parallel Earth where he fights to get back to the woman he loves.
Brock has crafted a truly unique sci-fi world, and within it we're asking questions, big questions, tough questions, like how can a loving God allow suffering? And where is He when we're in our darkest moments?
The Shift is very much inspired by the story of Job, a person who was seemingly abandoned by God and then severely tested.
Just like Job, and all of us really, Kevin has the decision to make every day. Trust in the goodness of God, or cave to the hardships of the world around him. Can you relate? I know I can.
Science fiction is the most popular genre of film at the box office, and my personal favorite. But most sci-fi films take place in a world where God does not exist. If you were Matthew McConaughey about to head into a black hole, wouldn't you pray? I would. But in Interstellar, he doesn't do that. I believe representation is important. We should see ourselves in our stories and in our heroes. But as a believer, I don't see myself in my favorite films.
I've actually never really been a huge sci-fi fan, but reading the feature script for The Shift started to change that in me. It's grounded in such humanity and raw human emotion. And combining those elements in a sci-fi world, to me, is a brilliant way of reaching a whole new audience that wouldn't otherwise be interested in watching a story with such strong faith elements. If you're like me and you want to see a wider variety of faith films, you can help make it happen by expressing interest right now at angel.com/theshift. The Shift will be distributed by Angel Studios, the same studio that brought you The Chosen, which I happened to work on as a producer. It's a show about Jesus and his disciples, and it's generated about 500 million views and over $100 million in revenue.
To tell a story as important and ambitious as The Shift requires a talented team, and we've got some real all-stars, including Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen.
I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift, and I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level.
It was an honor to be an early part of the Chosen team and help build it into what it is today. And I look forward to working closely with Brock to ensure that The Shift reaches that same level of excellence. And the only way to do that is to build the correct team.
We've already brought on veteran producer Ken Carpenter with his more than 3 decades of experience, and Brandon Jones, the sound designer on such films as A Quiet Place and Jungle Cruise, and of course our composers, multiple Grammy winner Dan Hasseltine and Matthew S. Nelson.
The wonderfully talented composers of The Chosen.
Ooh. Probably open, do you think?
Ooh, yeah.
Let's do it. Ooh.
The Shift short film was made for very little money at a time when I was out of work and confused and struggling to find God's path for me. But I also knew He will often use the dark times to show us the light. That's Kevin's story, and that's my story with The Shift as well. I made the film in faith, not knowing why, and then He showed me the way.
I'm blown away by what Brock was able to do with a tiny crew and a tiny budget. And I'm actually a little giddy about turning that short into a feature with an actual budget. But really what I'm most excited about is reaching a whole new audience with a story that brings light into the world in a smart and unique way. And that's what we need more of.
Join us in telling this exciting sci-fi story of hope and faith and love by expressing your interest now at angel.com/theshift. Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's Mega Watch Party. This is something that I'm really excited to do with you tonight. For those of you that are new to The Shift, this is the perfect night for you. I'm writer-director Brock Heasley. I created this little film that we're trying to build, not really little at all, that we're trying to build and make happen. You can see a whole lot more about this film at angel.com/theshift. There you can let us know if you're interested in investing, if we were to open up another round, and you can watch a lot of the things that I'm going to be showing you tonight. And I'm going to get to it really quick here. This whole night is designed to give you an idea of exactly what The Shift is and to answer any and all questions I possibly can. If you have seen maybe the short film, but you haven't seen the test footage, we're going to show you the test footage and we're going to talk about it and talk about why we made it and what it's all about. And if you're just totally unfamiliar with The Shift entirely, this night is for you. The video you just watched, of course, is a great primer, but we're going to really get into the nitty-gritty stuff tonight. We are going to be watching the short film, the animatic, and the test footage. These are 3 videos, 3 key videos that we have created before we've even created the feature film to give people an idea of what The Shift is and what it's going to be like. We're going to watch all 3 of them together. At the end of the watch party, I will be answering any and all questions that I possibly can. And I got something really exciting to announce for you as far as that goes. Anyone who asks a question tonight, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever you're watching, enter your questions into the chat. Anyone who asks a question tonight is automatically entered to win one of 5 pieces of merchandise that we're going to be giving away tonight. Now, I'm wearing one right now. You can see here I've got my Shift t-shirt on, but we also have a hoodie and we have a beanie. I think there's only 2 beanies left. But yeah, anyone who asks a question tonight, you'll be automatically entered. And at the end of tonight, I will announce who the winners are and let you know how to claim your prize. So keep those questions coming. At the end of all 3 videos, that's when I will be answering them, because really we just want to get right into it tonight. Also, at the end of the first short film, there's another way to win free merch, but we're going to get to that in a minute. First, let me tell you about what you're about to see. What you're about to see is the Shift short film. This is a film that I created with a small cast and crew a few years back, we'll say. And this was something that was done kind of without any idea that it was going to turn into everything that it has. I had been out of work for over a year and struggling to figure out what my path should be. You saw some of this in the video that we just watched. And I asked my friends, I asked the people around me to help me come and make this short film, really with no idea why I was even making it. I had never directed before. I had never written really a script much at all before. And so it was new territory for me. And honestly, it was something that as soon as I made it, I just knew this is what I need to do. And look, this was a number of years ago. I've gotten a lot more experience since then. But it was made, what you're about to watch was made for $500 and a lot of people lending their time and their talents. It is a sci-fi film. And it is a film that speaks to my faith, and it speaks to my love of sci-fi films. If you're like me, then you like to watch a lot of different kinds of movies. And a lot of my favorite movies are the works of Spielberg and Nolan and people like that. And you're going to see some of those influences here in this short film. Some people even called it kind of a lost episode of The Twilight Zone. It kind of has that vibe to it. And, you know, I wanted to make something that spoke to both sides of me, my faith and sci-fi. So here, without any more preamble, is the Shift short film.
Molly, do you mind turning that off?
Did you pay the bills last night?
You don't even watch it. It's just noise.
Mortgage, Kevin. You said you'd take care of it.
Did I? If you're so concerned, then pay it.
You said you would.
No, you say I said I would. I'm saying a different thing.
Awesome.
I'm not just going to agree with you because it makes it easier.
That's great, Kevin. Way to take a stand. I'll call the bank and tell them that you're too...
Just turn it off!
Where were you?
Brennan, where was I when?
The R&D meeting this morning. Early morning meeting.
Is there a memo on this?
There were 2. It was an important meeting. There were donuts.
Okay. I miss donuts.
Dude, I try to cultivate an atmosphere of excellence and cool in this department, obviously, but I am tired of your crap. If it's not the meeting, then it's the weekly reports, the residual spreadsheets.
I don't remember the memo.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. You don't remember. You know what? Just take the rest of the day off. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, you and I will discuss your future.
Hello?
Hi, honey.
Where are you?
I'm on my way home. Look, I'm sorry about this morning.
I'm out with friends. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back. Did you pay the bills yet?
What do you think? I was at work, and now I'm in the car.
Hey there. You okay? You okay?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Here, drink this.
Oh.
Drink this. You've got a nasty gash right here on.
Ow, God, please.
I had a kid, so I bandaged it up, but you seem okay otherwise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin, Garner.
Satan, pleased to finally meet you.
I'm sorry, my head's still spinning. What did you say?
Satan. My name's Satan.
As in the devil?
Yes?
It's a joke, right?
Why would I joke? I mean, look at you. I wouldn't be joking at a time like this.
God, okay. I gotta go, man. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Whoa.
Appreciate you helping me, I really do, man. If you don't mind, just...
Hey. Just stay awake. Stay awake. Keep talking to me.
Oh, what the hell, man?
Keep talking, man. It's gonna help you stay awake.
Oh.
And we need to talk business, okay?
What business? What business?
I want to offer you a job.
I have a job.
Not for long.
Okay, Satan, if you can help me to my car, I'd feel a little bit better.
Of course.
Where's my car? Where's the accident?
There was no accident here.
What do you mean there was no accident here? How long was I out back there?
A little while. You should check your phone.
What day is it?
What's your phone say?
No, you could have messed with my phone while
December
I was out.
14th. Same as before your accident.
You just said there was no accident.
No. I said there was no accident here.
I need to see a paper.
What for?
I want to see a newspaper.
There, you see?
Buy it. Buy a paper. I want to see the ones on the inside. Don't tell me you don't have the money. Not in that suit.
We've just never had to prove it this far.
This one? You could have put that there. Who's we?
Me and you. Kevin, this isn't the first time we've done all this.
You're certifiable. I have never met you.
No, of course you haven't.
It reads the same.
Yes, this is tedious.
You tell me, where is my car and where did everybody go?
They didn't go anywhere, Kevin. You did. Are you sure you are where you think you are? I'm hungry. Let's get some dinner. I'm buying. Mark, hey, how's old Josh doing? That work out for him? Just like I said, right? Kevin, what do you know about me?
Nothing. I don't know who you
Sure
are.
you do.
Two,
Yes, Tina, thank you.
right this way.
Fine. You're Satan. Is that what you want to hear?
And what do you know about me?
What can I get for you guys?
Steak and eggs, glass of milk, tall. Kevin?
Well, just have a coffee, please.
Are you sure it's my treat?
Coffee's fine.
Kevin will have a coffee.
Okay.
You're a fiend, a crook, a liar. Your goal? Misery.
Straight out of Sunday school. You're religious then?
Yeah, well, sort of. I used to be.
That's different. Wouldn't you like to know how I do it all?
Do what?
Cause all this misery you're accusing me of. Although I prefer the term chaos.
You tempt people.
Basically. Let's talk about your marriage.
What about my marriage?
Molly's been cheating on you, clearly. Has been for a while.
What is this? What?
You guys haven't had a real conversation in what, 3 years? What did you think was gonna happen? Number one cause of a broken marriage. Can you guess? Lack of communication. Misunderstanding. Misunderstandings are the reason for so much conflict in this world. I mean, wars are fought over them. Entire lucrative professions are built around fixing them. And when communication breaks down, chaos.
Steak and eggs, then a tall glass of milk.
Excellent. So prompt.
Can I get you anything else?
This is incredible. Tina, my compliments to your mother. She just keeps outdoing herself.
I'll let her know.
Please, there's so much food. Stay, join us.
No,
Stay! Eat. Good, right? This morning you had an argument with your wife about paying the bills. Did you promise to pay the bills?
I don't think so.
Two people see the same accident, but their accounts differ wildly. Why?
They each see it by their own perspective or bias.
Wrong. They both see different accidents. Each one of them sees a different accident. Both are telling the truth, and they'll never agree.
What?
There is no fiction. For every choice you make, there are countless other realities where you make different choices. And that's true for every single decision made by every person who ever lived. Choice breeds infinite possibilities. Choice breeds realities. There's not a thing you can imagine that doesn't already exist somewhere, somewhen. There is no fiction.
Parallel Earths.
So good. So good, so good when he gets it. I love this moment.
And you?
Imagine the power to move one person from one reality to the next, to swap someone out for their doppelganger from another Earth, to shift them. That's what I do.
I never talked to Molly about paying the bills.
No, you didn't. I shifted her. Replaced her with a version of your wife whose husband did, in fact, promise to pay the bills.
But why?
Just one tiny difference. Disagreement, confusion, tension, chaos.
My wife?
Shifted. It's how the world's work, Kevin.
Prove it. I don't believe you. I need to see it. Shift something.
What would you like me to shift, Kevin?
Shift her.
Sure.
Where did she go?
Somewhere else. I would have swapped her with another Tina, but you wouldn't have noticed. She's on some world where her parents never met and fell in love, where there is no Tina. Small deviations are usually best, but that's a big shift. Big shifts take people out of the game and into psych wards. Makes me sad.
I didn't mean...
Oh, don't get broken up about it. They got lots of daughters. Or they used to. Maybe it's time to find a new cafe.
What do you want from me?
Oh, Kevin, you're special. You don't even know. And I can't do this all by myself. It's a big job. A big job. On every world, I set up my power players, and they do my work.
What kind of work is that?
You know. Lie, cheat, steal, murder.
I've never hurt anybody my whole life.
No, but you have such potential. You're a halfway decent guy. It's the other half I'm particularly fond of, and it takes over in the end.
No. You don't know.
I do know. You do accept this offer. You're out there, Kevin, doing my work, and you're rewarded for it. You're a captain of industry. You're a leader. You're a Hollywood producer. You're a king. And I can provide all of those things for you, everything you ever wanted. I have 1,000 different versions of you on 1,000 different worlds doing my work. And they aren't hampered by an unfaithful spouse or an idiot supervisor who can't recognize their talents. Swear allegiance to me, Kevin. And I will lift you out of this embarrassing farce you call a life and into something glorious.
You can do that?
Just say the word. It would honestly be my pleasure.
But you're the one that made my wife disappear. You're the one that's been screwing everything up.
Don't be unfair, Kevin. You do your part too, and I can keep on doing mine. I can make your life truly, truly miserable. Or I can make you deliriously happy. The choice is yours.
But that's not who I am. I'm not like that. I wouldn't know how to be like that.
Look at what you've done already today. That poor waitress.
I didn't.
Poor Tina. That's one life destroyed. Wasn't it easy? Just say the word. You're already on the path. You might as well keep going. Let me give you everything you ever wanted. Just say the word.
Father in heaven.
Are you praying?
Last heard from you, but I'm
Really?
Here there's
This
darkness.
is amazing. Please, please, I love it. Do you really think that God will help you after what you've done? You're tainted goods. You're not even worth his effort anymore. And even if he does help you, do you think I will ever leave you alone? Ever? You can't put me off. I am relentless. I am at your heels. I know you. You are nothing. Nothing. I am greater than God. I am certainly greater than him.
that is the Shift short film. Take a look at these names that are going to be flashing up here. This is the talented cast and crew who worked on this film. And fun fact, we actually, just a month before we shot this short film, we all worked on a haunted house together. So that's where I met most of the people you see on screen. We were all just working a haunted house, and I just thought they were talented, and so let's make a short film. And that's how that came together. Real quick, anyone who is joining us for the first time tonight, will you please let us know if this is your first Shift live stream, and let us know if anybody invited you and that's how you got here. Let us know the name of that person. We're going to be choosing 2 people or 2 pairs of people to win free merch. Yeah, we're giving away more free merch tonight. And of course, anyone who asks a question tonight, you are also entered in. And at the end of this live stream, I'll be announcing who all those winners are. So if this is your first Shift live stream, let us know. You have a chance to win free t-shirt, free hoodie, or a free beanie. A few years after making the short film, Angel Studios saw it. I submitted it to them, mostly not even thinking that anything was going to happen with it. I was really just trying to get on their, at the time, streaming service. And they saw it, and instead they said, is there more to this? And I said, yeah, I have an idea for a feature film, and I think it's pretty strong. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do it. I know what happens to Kevin after he walks out that door, and that's what I want. That's the story I would want to tell. And they said, great. Let's do with you and the Shift what we're doing with The Chosen. Let's crowdfund and let's make this something that's so much bigger. And I couldn't believe it, and I was so excited. And so we did. We put a crowdfund together, and they decided that The Shift should be Angel Studios' first feature film. And so that's what we're building right now. What you've just seen is the short film. We have a much, much grander vision in mind. And remember, the short film was made for $500. We're going to be making this feature film for a whole lot more than that. And one of the ways that I do that, one of the ways I go from a $500 short film to a multi-million-dollar feature film is by surrounding myself with the right people. So one of the first people I reached out to as part of this process was Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen. And Dallas was a fan of my work, and he was kind enough to come on as an executive producer. We also have Dan Hasseltine and Matthew Else Nelson. They're going to be the composers for The Shift. They are also the composers for The Chosen. And Justin Overlander, who was an early associate producer on The Chosen, and instrumental in that whole series coming together. He has also come over to The Shift. He'll be working as a co-producer, and usually he's the guy hosting these live streams. We've also got veteran producer Ken Carpenter with his 3 decades of experience. I'm working very closely with Ken to put together even more people on the team. And someone else I brought in is Brandon Jones, my good friend, who is now working with Michael Bay and on these giant blockbusters. He recently did A Quiet Place, and he also did the sound design for the Jungle Cruise, whatever it's called. He's working on all these big films. He's also going to be coming in and doing the sound design for The Shift. This movie is going to sound incredible, and it's going to look incredible too. And one of the things that we've done as we have slowly built this thing up and made, as we work towards making The Shift into a feature film, is we have done 3 previous rounds of crowdfunding. And so far to date, we have raised about $1.7 to $1.8 million. I don't have the exact figures right here in front of me, but we've raised nearly $2 million so far through crowdfunding rounds. And right now, if you go to angel.com/The Shift, you can let us know if you would like to invest in The Shift. We're not currently taking investments, but what we are doing is gauging interest to see if people want to come in and be a part of our team, partner with us, and be investors, and to help us make this film into a reality. So that's what's going on right now. And one of the other things that's part of all of that, The Shift isn't based on, the Bible. It's inspired by the book of Job. It is, but it's an original story. And I, as a filmmaker, I'm largely an unknown quantity. And so one of the burdens that I feel is really communicating with people exactly what The Shift is. And one of the questions a lot of people have after watching the short film is, how in the world do you go from 2 guys talking into a diner into like a legitimate sci-fi film? Like, where does the story even go from there? That's going to be exciting. How is it not just going to be like, a Christian, My Dinner with Andre? And if you know that reference, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And what I'm about to show you is the answer to that question. So what I've done is I got a small group of people together, including some of our actors from the short film, brought them back. I brought in Brandon, our sound designer. I brought in Dan and Matt, our composers, and I asked them to collaborate with me. And I brought in also a great animator and artist by the name of Kevin Mellon, and Jace Hill, our editor. And we got together with a small group of people, and we created what's called an animatic. An animatic is basically storyboards that are lightly animated, but we really went the extra mile by putting down original music, original sound design, and casting actors, many, again, from our short film, to play the roles. And what I'm about to show you is a 10-minute sequence from the third act of the feature film. So if you want to avoid spoilers, I suggest muting this or turning it off for 10 minutes, and then come back to it later. But I do think that it's important for people to understand exactly how big this film is going to get, and that's what the animatic demonstrates. Some of this you're not going to understand because we are picking up the story actually 5 years after what you've just seen. That's where we're picking up this story in the film. So this is the beginning of the third act. It's going to spoil some things, but it's also going to give you an idea. It's not going to show you the full ending of the film. So it's not that. It's not going to spoil the ending of the film, but it will give you an idea of how we lead into that ending. But more importantly, it's going to give you an idea of how we're going to play into the genre confines and conventions of sci-fi, how this film is really going to be a sci-fi and, in some instances, action film. So here it is, the Shift Animatic.
You know what evil really is, Kevin? I mean, when you break it all down, it's not scary. It's not blood rites and red demons with horns and all that nonsense. It's just selfishness. Self before anyone else. Purest motivation there is, and I respect it so damn much. You hear that, Gabriel? I respect you.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. All out. Wasn't expecting company.
Yes, you were. You've been expecting company for 5 years now. I mean, that's your whole problem, Kevin. You keep expecting him to show up. And why shouldn't you? You prayed, he came. You knocked, he answered. Isn't it reasonable to expect he'll hold the door open? But he doesn't. He never does. When are you finally going to wake up and realize he doesn't take care of his own? He'll help you and make you think he loves you, and then he'll what? What does he say? He'll always be with you? No. Look at you. He's gone, and you're left holding the bag. Alone.
It's a test.
A test? Kevin, are you even listening to me? You passed his test 5 years ago. How many tests are there supposed to be? I mean, where's the syllabus?
There's supposed to be one in that drawer.
Oh, Kevin. I'm trying to help you. I really am. My offer still stands. You never have to eat baked beans from a can again. Unless you love baked beans from a can, in which case I'll get you a truck full. I don't judge. I have so much to give you if you'll let me. And, unlike him, once you're with me, that's it. I've got your back for life.
What did you do with my son?
What?
Did you shift my son away?
Oh, Kevin. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, I don't know anyone named Daniel Asada. I don't know him.
Amna, Mary.
Priya, hide the girls.
Brigitte, come inside. Come inside.
Please, leave.
Hey!
Don't.
Gabriel, get down!
What are you doing in here?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Get out! Get out!
Oh, no!
Keep moving. I'm from there. I'm from there.
Gabriel?
You are not supposed to be here.
Tina, please. Do you know where you are today?
Of course.
Tell me.
I'm far. Far, far away. Far, far away.
Tina? Tina? Do you know who I am?
Kevin, at the table.
That's right. It's Kevin. You remember, don't you?
Kevin at the table points. The multiplicity of everything opens up. Swallows. Big gulp. I mean, in the words. Far away I go. So very far away. I am eaten in the words. I had a family, a husband, a daughter, a life.
Daughter?
What has he done to them?
I don't know.
Take me back. Take me away from here and take me back.
I don't know how. There is men, and they're after me, and they...
Take me back!
Tina, calm down.
No!
Let her go! Stop! Just stop! Get back! Please, just let her go! We are fine!
Tina, calm down!
Just stop!
This is a great flick. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah?
She's this total badass who knows everybody's business because she's lived it all before. Owns this cop like a cop ain't never been owned.
Ugh, I hate cops. Hate them.
Telling you, great flick, great movie. Are you hungry? I need a sandwich. Can I get you girls anything?
I'm good, baby.
All right. I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Who sent you? No one. Who are you? You have any idea whose house you're in? What you're into just by coming here? Did they even tell you? No, shut up! Please, let me explain. What are you doing here? Look, I know this is confusing. I said, what are you doing here? This is my world! My world! I am not here for anything you have. If you'll just put the gun down, I'll be on my way. You've got one. Why would he give one to you? He didn't. Give it here. I can't do that. I said, give it here!
And that was The Shift Animatic. And if you think that looks like a potentially impressive film and you'd be interested in investing, you can let us know at angel.com/The Shift. We are currently gauging interest for another round of crowdfunding. We haven't opened one up yet, but if we do and you let us know that you're interested, we'll contact you straight off. Last year, we did kind of a crazy thing. We took the feature film for the script for the feature film, and we released it to the public for a limited time, and we let anybody who wanted to read it. And so a lot of what you saw in the animatic just now was in the script, and the people who read that script, they got the full context, and it was up for a number of months, but it's not available anymore. But those who did read it were very excited by what they saw. And even with the animatic and even with the short film, there is this question of, how are you going to execute this? How are you going to improve? Some people complain that our $500 short film, it doesn't look as good as The Chosen, for example. The lighting is too bright or whatever. And of course, I always want to say, well, we had a very small budget. We are looking to up our game significantly for the feature film. That is the goal. And the animatic gives you an idea of kind of what we're aiming towards. But I still felt like there was something else that we could do, something else that we could show and provide to people to let them know just exactly how this feature film is going to look and feel and how it's going to be different from the short film. And earlier this year, with a small cast and crew with just a little bit of budget, we created the Shift test footage. Now, the Shift test footage is, it's gotten some interesting reactions. People have watched it and they thought, oh my gosh, it's so dark. It's so dark. That's one of the reactions that people have. And it is dark. It's darker than the short film in terms, I'm talking about like the actual lighting. And there's kind of a sadness to it. In the test footage, I'm trying to really give you a sense of how Kevin feels in his journey and what he feels particularly after the events that you see in the short film. And I'm a firm believer that you don't really get to light, you don't really appreciate light without passing through darkness. When I think about the times in my life when God has been the most present, when I have felt him and when I have known his love and his light, it has been right on the heels of some of the darkest times. And that's the idea that I want to communicate with this film. It's one of the ideas anyways that I want to communicate with this film. And I believe that by making a film that doesn't shy away from the darkness, that is realistic, not in the sense of this is a realistic film because it is a sci-fi film, but realistic in its emotions and realistic in its portrayal of the struggle of a person of faith, that we're going to reach a lot more people with this. So what I want to show you right now is that test footage. Now, be warned, this test footage is not telling a story. Okay, there's no story here. This is about a look and a feel, and so you'll even find there's no dialogue. If you're spoiler averse, I wouldn't really worry about it. You're going to see some things that you saw in the animatic just now, but now you're going to see them in live action. But you're not really going to get a sense of what the story is like. Don't focus on that. If you focus on that, you're going to be lost. You're going to be frustrated. Focus on the feelings. Focus on the tone of this. That's what's important. I call this a tone piece, not a narrative piece. So you're going to see right away, I think, that there's no other faith film like this. And in fact, this is the kind of film that can really appeal to people outside of our faith. I think this film, my goal for this film is very much that it can be approached as just a great story. It's just a great movie. And if you take a faith message away from it, fantastic. It's in there, certainly. But we're not trying to hit people over the head. We're not preaching, and we're trying to do something different. And I don't think you get to different unless you signal in every way that it actually is different. And so here is something very different, the Shift test footage. That is how the film is going to look and feel. At least that's a taste of how it might look and feel. As I said before, it was done with a small cast and crew, and I think it's very fair to expect that the feature film will look and feel even better than that. But I think it is important to give a full picture of exactly what this film is going to be like, at least as much as I can without actually making it. So that's what tonight's been all about, and that's what you've seen tonight. We've shown the short film, we've shown the animatic, and we've shown the test footage. These are the three big things that we've created. And of course, we have other videos that we've created too, promotional videos, pitch videos, and things like that. But tonight, I really wanted to focus in on like the things that are really just about the film. And so I hope that's been of benefit to you. I know there's a lot of questions. I'm going to jump into them right now. So let's see how many of these questions we can knock off. I'm excited about this. I appreciate everyone who's asked questions. You've all been entered into the drawing. The winners will be announced following the Q&A. So Ryan and Esther, let's see that first question. Okay, this is from Jacqueline. She says, the last part of the scene, did you get the idea from the 40 days in the wilderness that Jesus lived through? I think what Jacqueline is referring to here is the final scene of the short film when Kevin is praying and Satan is, or maybe just before that, when Satan is kind of tempting him with all the different things. And Jacqueline, yes, you're exactly right. The temptation of Christ in the wilderness was a direct inspiration for the Shift short film. And a lot of the things that Satan says to Kevin in that diner scene are really just a paraphrasing of things that he says to Christ in the wilderness. So good catch on that one. In fact, if you look closely at the end credits of the Shift short film, you'll see those verses are actually called out at the end of the credits. I try to do that with every film I make, is just, you know, some kind of a scripture or a tie-in that I'm doing. And for the Shift short film, that was the tie-in, was those verses in Matthew. So great question. Thank you. What else we got? Michelle asks, will you be elaborating on the characters more in the movie, like their background? Yes, Michelle, the characters are going to get a lot more background. For Kevin in particular, the short film that you've seen is essentially kind of the end of the first act of the feature film. That means there's about 10 to 15 minutes that happens before we even get into that stuff. So you're going to see Kevin and Molly. You're going to see how they met. You're going to see how they fell in love. You're going to see what it is that's kind of put their marriage on such fragile ground. You're going to find out a lot more about both of them. And, you know, Molly is really done a disservice by the short film. Molly, by the way, was played by my wife in the short film. Molly, you don't really get much about her. But in the feature film, she is a major, major character. And really the film becomes so much about her and Kevin. And in fact, I even refer to the feature film as a love story in that way. So yes, you're going to get a lot more. And there are other characters too, characters that didn't feature in the short film or the test footage or the animatic that I think you're going to love, and we'll find out more about them too. But yes, the great thing about a 2-hour film versus a 20-minute short film is the ability to delve into these characters' histories and stories and see so much more of them. All right, what else we got? Next question from Kenneth. How much money is needed, and do you have an anticipated release? Great question, Kenneth. So our budget right now is set at $6 million. That is the total that we need, and that's to do the script justice. That's basically the reason why, and to hire great actors, name actors who can really help us out at the marketplace. And right now we are hoping to release at the end of next year. That is the current target. We'll see if we hit it. That means that we're going to need to start shooting no later than the beginning of next year, which is our current target for shooting. And I think we're well on our way to that. But you know, it's movies, and you can make your plans and then you see what happens. And so, but I would say that things are looking really good for hitting those targets. All right, next question. Brent asks, do we expect traditional audiences or more pure Christian audiences to be attracted to the film? Where and how will it be promoted? Great question, Brent. So I am not interested in making a film that just appeals to Christian audiences. It's not that that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing to do if that's what you want to do, and certainly we need things like that, but that's just not my interest. This film is designed, and in any film actually I think that I'll ever do in my career, is going to be designed to appeal to the widest possible audience. My first task is to make a great sci-fi film, a great story The second task is to infuse it with my faith, which I believe is just a natural consequence of being a person of faith. That's why I think these elements are in there, not because I am focusing on ramming a message through, but just because I am a person of faith. This is who I am, and that's going to come through in anything that I do. And it does, and it has in The Shift. So yeah, we are going to be aiming for a broad audience. I believe that there are trailers and advertisements that will probably exist that don't even necessarily hint at the faith stuff in this film. The faith stuff, that's such a reductive way of putting it, but you know what I mean. And I think they'll be very happy with the film and the way that things are portrayed. I had a number of, in fact, there are people watching this live stream right now who are not believers, who are big, huge fans of The Shift and even part of our Shift fan club on Facebook. And they love the film because they love the story, not because they love the faith aspects. And I think if we can create something like that, I think that's very valuable. I'm just, I served as a missionary for a time, and so my heart is always going to be to not just talking to people in the church, but also people outside of it and coming together. Where and how will it be promoted? A lot of that is to be determined, but here's the great thing, is that we've already got Angel Studios on our side, who you may be familiar with as the distributor behind The Chosen. And they know a thing or two about building an audience and getting something out there. Now, this is going to be their first theatrical film, and to that end, we're exploring multiple partnerships with other people who have experience in theatrical distribution. Nobody I can name or talk about just yet, but those discussions are happening. There are strategies being built, some strategies that are brand new, which Angel Studios is very known for, creating something that you've never thought of before and then just blowing the roof off the place by using those strategies in order to get the word out. So I don't have anything concrete to tell you right now, Brent. All I can say is that I've got the best minds working on it. And the intent and the goal and the plan very much is as wide a theatrical release as we can do, with the advertising spend that you would expect behind that. So that's how things are coming together at the moment. All right, next question. Oh, Anonymous just put in $1,000. Let us know they'd like to invest in this film with $1,000. That's pretty awesome. So thank you, Anonymous, whoever you are. Roper says, what are you most excited to film? Oh, this is a great question, and I don't think I've ever thought about it before. I'm probably most excited to film. This is a lame answer. It really is. But there's nothing more exciting to me in film, and there's nothing more exciting to me to direct than great conversations. I love just two people talking. And if you've seen the short film, which you just did, you know that's what I love, because that's what I just did. The short film is basically just two guys talking. And there's something that's just really exciting to me about that. A sparkling, crisp conversation. Nothing gets me more excited than that. So there's some great conversations that are going to be happening in the Shift feature film. Kevin and Satan, who actually in the film we've changed his name to the Benefactor. We don't call him Satan anymore. That's part of that reaching a broader audience. They're going to have some great conversations. Molly and Kevin have two amazing conversations that I can think of off the top of my head that I can't wait for. And there's some other characters you haven't even met yet. In conversation, in relationships with each other, to me, that's what's great about stories is it's not just the cool stuff that happens. It's how do people relate to each other. And ultimately, that's what stories are speaking to. So those are the things I'm most excited to film. All right, next question. This is from Emily. She says, will the actor who plays Kevin be in the feature? We really want him to stay as Kevin, but if not, will he be doing another part? So yes, we are going to be recasting Kevin. We're going to be recasting Satan, a.k.a. the Benefactor. But it is safe to say that our actor who plays Kevin, who's a good friend of mine named Gregory C. Tharp, it is safe to say that he will be in the film in another capacity. More than that, I don't want to say, but that is certainly something that's very important to me. None of this would have happened without Greg. Greg was the one who came to me the last night of that haunted house, and he said, hey, I heard you're a writer. If you ever write anything, I'd love to star in it. He was an actor looking for work. I'm sure it wasn't much more than that, but he sparked this idea. 3 days later, I had the script for the short film. A month after that, he was in front of camera, and we were shooting it. So Greg is someone that's important to me, and I would expect to see him in the feature film, but we're gonna change his appearance a little bit. But you'll if you know him, you'll know him. You'll see him. All right, next question. Justin says, question, how will this film draw people like me who typically aren't sci-fi fans? Awesome question, Justin. I am so glad that you asked this, because I can tell you right now on this live stream, there are a lot of people who aren't normally sci-fi fans. And I'll tell you this, they are some of the biggest fans of this film. And the reason for that is because The Shift is rooted in truth, and it's rooted in character, and it's rooted in values, like strong, like, what are we doing here together, and what is the responsibility that we have to each other? It is rooted in these universal things that transcend sci-fi. And you know, this is grounded sci-fi. This isn't Star Wars and spaceships and stuff like that. This is grounded sci-fi. You're going to see guys in weird white helmets and stuff like that. But for the most part, this film is going to be people just having a go at life and doing the best they can. And that's something that all of us can relate to. I don't have the budget to make a giant sci-fi epic, and even if I did, I'd still probably root it in I would root it in character. But especially with a budget this size that we're trying to do, this is a movie about people, and it's a movie about one man in particular and his struggle between the forces of darkness and light. That's all of us, and who can't relate to that? And look at the comments, Justin. You'll see people probably echoing exactly what I'm saying, that their attraction to this film is not because of the sci-fi. It's because this man is going through something that they can relate to, and that's my goal with this film, is to make something that's relatable to everybody, and I think that it is. All right, next question. What's up? What's next? These are good. These are really good questions. Really thoughtful. I'm going to say Josanna. Is that how you pronounce the name? Any teasers about what happens with Kevin after he leaves the diner? How can I tease this without doing any spoilers? Well, you've seen some of that, Josanna. In the animatic, you saw some of that, and you saw some of that in the test footage. So I guess what I could add to that is that Kevin will make friends, Kevin will make enemies, and he is going to have to deal with a struggle, a particular struggle that I think all of us as believers go through at one time or another. And maybe that's the best way to tease what he goes through after the diner. After the diner, as you saw Satan disappear, aka the benefactor. You saw him disappear. The other thing that's going to happen, hey, Alexander came in with $1,000. Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexander. The other thing that's going to happen is that God is going to go silent on Kevin. God is going to go silent. And this is where the story of the shift really takes its cues from the book of Job. Job was a faithful man. Kevin, as we leave him in the diner, is a faithful man. He's had an incredible experience. He's had an incredible witness of faith. And to have God go silent after something like that, how does that make any sense? But that's what I want to show, because that, honestly, that's my story. I lost my job. About over a year later, I shot the Shift short film, and I didn't know why. And it took literally years to figure out why I had made that film. And it took literally years for me to make any kind of real money. I don't know why I was out of work for so long, but I was out of work for years, and it didn't make any sense to me. And I was praying, and I was going to church, and I was doing everything. And God's response to me the entire time was nothing. Total silence. And that made no sense to me. Now it makes total sense to me. Without passing through that experience, there is no way the shift would be what it is. So much of what Kevin goes through, particularly after the diner, is me translating my experience and God's silence in my life, God's very necessary silence in my life, into this film. I think God is silent sometimes for a purpose. He was silent for a purpose for Job, and he was silent for a purpose for me. And I don't need to get into all that. But I'm just going to say that God does work in mysterious ways, and it does make sense, usually in hindsight. I'm always suspicious of people who are like, oh, God's doing this right now. Well, maybe, I don't know. These things make sense usually later, at least in my experience. And so that's what Kevin's journey is going to be, is trying to figure out, okay, the devil basically just told me how he works, got it. But now Kevin's got to figure out, how does God work? And that's what he's going to discover over the course of the film. So great question, Josanna. Thank you so much for that one. Jacqueline asks, where will it be filmed? So right now we're almost in a lock, about 99% sure we're going to be shooting in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Atlanta, Georgia offers some great benefits, mostly tax incentives and things like that. So yeah, probably the Atlanta, Georgia area. All right, next question. Okay, this is our last question. Devante says, I hope I pronounced your name right, Devante. So when does this show actually start? So I think you're asking for the release date there, and I believe I answered that one previously. Hopefully by the end of next year, the film will be out and available. That's what we're currently aiming for. And if you're asking me when we start shooting, we're aiming for the beginning of next year. So that's, I believe I answered that question. So awesome questions, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please go to angel.com/theshift. You can watch everything I've just shown you. It's all right there on the page. You can read up on who is part of our team and so much more. And you can also, of course, hit that express interest button and let us know if you're interested in investing in another round, if we were to open up another round of crowdfunding. Something else that's about to happen, I'm gonna say goodbye, and then after I say goodbye, you're going to see another video. This one is, I'm basically calling it Why We're Making the Shift. And you actually saw this video once at the top of this live stream. This video is a brand new video. We've never released it online, but right after this live stream is over, I'm going to post a social media version of this video, complete with subtitles and framed for your phone and all of that. I'm going to post it on the Shift Facebook page. And I encourage everyone, if you're excited about this film, if you believe in this film, go to our Facebook page in just a few minutes and share this video. Let's get this video out there. I think this video is so exciting because it does show what the heart is behind the shift. And of course, it features me and co-producer Justin Overlander, who is just a rock star. And it speaks to why this film is important, why we're making it. I think it's a great video. And I'd love to see it get out there even more. And please comment on it, like all that stuff. But let's get this video out there. Oh, and I can't forget, we've got to announce our winners. The winners of our contest, and I'm going to tell you how you're going to get your prize. Let me go to the file here. Okay, our winners of the first timers. So these are people who are either this was their first Shift live stream, or they invited someone who is one of our first timers. So the winners of our first timers are Preston Stewart over on Facebook, Roper Kirby on YouTube, April Blake on YouTube, and Derek Marsh on Facebook. All four of you are our first timers, and you all get Shift merch. How do you get that Shift merch? There's two different ways you can do this. Number one, you can send us a message on Facebook and just let us know your address and things like that so we can get this over to you. Or you can send me an email at brock@shiftmovie.net. So either one of those ways you can do that. So those names again are first timers: Preston Stewart, Roper Kirby, April Blake, and Derek Marsh. And of course, we also entered everyone who asked a question tonight into a drawing for merch as well. And so the following 5 people are also going to get free merch tonight: Emily J. Buckner, Adam M., Kenneth Parent, Lisa in Ocala 2, I think that's a pseudonym, so hopefully I said that right, and Greg Tremblay. All of you asked questions tonight. I thank you so much for engaging with me and asking such great questions. Please get in touch with us via our Facebook page. Just send us a private message, or go ahead and just email me over at brock@shiftmovie.net. And let us know that you're one of our winners, and we'll and with your address and all that stuff, and we'll get that stuff shipped out to you. Again, our winners are those who ask questions: Emily J. Buckner, Adam M., Kenneth Parent, Lisa in Ocala 2 over on YouTube, and Greg Tremblay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. This Shift Mega Watch Party was designed specifically with you in mind, you first timers, you who are maybe just not fully understanding what the shift is, or maybe you've just seen one thing. Please, if you think that this was a valuable live stream, number one, go to angel.com/theshift and let us know. Hit that express interest button. And number two, share this with your friends. This is it. This is like the primer. This is the best way to know exactly what the shift is. It's all in one spot. This is a great way to share with your friends everything's about the shift, and having to, instead of having to say, oh yeah, go watch this and go watch this and go watch that. No, everything's in one. It's all right here. I'm Brock Heasley, the writer and director of The Shift, and I'm so grateful that you joined us tonight. More news is coming soon. Things are happening behind the scenes that I cannot talk about, but this film is coming together. It's coming together in a really, really exciting way. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
Are you praying?
My unworthiness saved me that I may be worthy tomorrow.
I am greater than God.
Jesus
Christ.
Think of a science fiction film that acknowledges the existence of God. It's not easy. What you've just seen is part of The Shift, a sci-fi short film about a man of faith who encounters a mysterious stranger with otherworldly powers.
We're turning The Shift into a full-length feature film, which excites me for a number of reasons. And the biggest reason is the opportunity to show the love of God in the kind of story where we don't usually find him.
A story of faith this big belongs on a big screen to reach the broadest possible audience. You can be a part of making this film a reality by expressing your interest at angel.com/theshift. The Shift is about Kevin, a man who's like me, and I think like a lot of us, he has faith, but he's hardly perfect. His marriage is on the rocks, he's about to lose his job, and he's not completely sure he's even a very good person. And then he meets the devil himself, pushes him back through prayer, and gets banished to a tyrannical parallel Earth where he fights to get back to the woman he loves.
Brock has crafted a truly unique sci-fi world, and within it we're asking questions. Big questions, tough questions, like how can a loving God allow suffering? And where is he when we're in our darkest moments?
The Shift is very much inspired by the story of Job, a person who was seemingly abandoned by God and then severely tested.
Just like Job, and all of us really, Kevin has the decision to make every day. Trust in the goodness of God, or cave to the hardships of the world around him. Can you relate? I know I can.
Science fiction is the most popular genre of film at the box office, and my personal favorite. But most sci-fi films take place in a world where God does not exist. If you were Matthew McConaughey about to head into a black hole, wouldn't you pray? I would. But in Interstellar, he doesn't do that. I believe representation is important. We should see ourselves in our stories and in our heroes. But as a believer, I don't see myself in my favorite films.
I've actually never really been a huge sci-fi fan, but reading the feature script for The Shift starting to change that in me. It's grounded in such humanity and raw human emotion. And combining those elements in a sci-fi world, to me, is a brilliant way of reaching a whole new audience that wouldn't otherwise be interested in watching a story with such strong faith elements. If you're like me and you want to see a wider variety of faith films, you can help make it happen by expressing interest right now at angel.com/theshift. The Shift will be distributed by Angel Studios, the same studio that brought you The Chosen, which I happened to work on as a producer. It's a show about Jesus and his disciples, and it's generated about 500 million views and over $100 million in revenue.
To tell a story as important and ambitious as The Shift requires a talented team, and we've got some real all-stars, including Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen.
I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift, and I want to see more, and I want to be part of it, and it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level.
It was an honor to be an early part of The Chosen team and help build it into what it is today, and I look forward to working closely with Brock to ensure that The Shift reaches that same level of excellence. And the only way to do that is to build the correct team.
We've already brought on veteran producer Ken Carpenter with his more than 3 decades of experience, and Brandon Jones, the sound designer on such films as A Quiet Place and Jungle Cruise, and of course our composers, multiple Grammy winner Dan Hasseltine and Matthew S. Nelson.
The wonderfully talented composers of The Chosen.
Ooh. Probably all been, do you think?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Ooh.
The Shift short film was made for very little money at a time when I was out of work and confused and struggling to find God's path for me. But I also knew He will often use the dark times to show us the light. That's Kevin's story, and that's my story with The Shift as well. I made the film in faith, not knowing why, and then He showed me the way.
I'm blown away by what Brock was able to do with a tiny crew and a tiny budget. And I'm actually a little giddy about turning that short into a feature with an actual budget. But really what I'm most excited about is reaching a whole new audience with a story that brings light into the world in a smart and unique way. And that's what we need more of.
Join us in telling this exciting sci-fi story of hope and faith and love by expressing your interest now at angel.com/theshift.